In a major blow to global cybercrime, U.S. authorities have arrested 5 suspects in California, following a sweeping operation that spanned multiple states and involved dozens of law enforcement personnel. The arrests were made while acting on a German-led investigation into a vast online fraud and money laundering ring, which had been under surveillance for months. These arrests, requested by German prosecutors, mark a new era of international law enforcement cooperation, demonstrating how countries are now working together more closely than ever to combat cyber threats. The suspects, 4 Americans and 1 Canadian, now face extradition to Germany for their alleged roles in a sophisticated scheme that targeted millions of victims worldwide, stealing sensitive data and large sums of money. The operation is a breakthrough, the result of months of coordinated police work across continents, involving intelligence sharing and joint task forces. The Department of Justice emphasized the strong U.S.-German partnership in tackling these complex crimes, highlighting the importance of international collaboration in the digital age. For years, cybercriminals have exploited legal loopholes across borders, but this case shows a unified front, sending a powerful message to those who believe they can evade justice. The scale is staggering. 44 suspects are under investigation, with authorities tracking digital footprints across several countries. With 18 more arrested in places from Singapore to Canada, the crackdown is truly global, reflecting the borderless nature of cybercrime. The message is clear. Global law enforcement is closing in, and there are no safe havens for digital criminals, no matter where they operate. This is just one piece of a much larger puzzle, as authorities worldwide ramp up efforts to dismantle these networks and protect citizens from online threats. The arrests highlight the vulnerabilities of our digital lives, reminding us that cybercrime can touch anyone, anywhere, at any time. And they also show the growing reach of justice in the internet age, as courts and law enforcement adapt to new challenges. This is a story of law enforcement catching up to the speed of cybercrime, and a warning to those who think they can hide behind a screen. The 5 arrested in the U.S. are not small-time hackers or petty criminals. Instead, they're key players accused of enabling a massive, sophisticated fraud network that spanned continents. Their alleged role was central to the operation, facilitating fraudulent payments through complex digital channels and helping launder stolen money, striking at the financial core of the criminal enterprise. These actions allowed the network to move millions undetected. These arrests stem from a formal German request, underscoring the strong and growing U.S.-German law enforcement partnership. The suspects' extradition hearings in California highlight the global reach of the investigation and the trust placed in American agencies to handle such high-profile cases. This is part of a worldwide sweep, coordinated across borders and agencies. 23 have been detained so far, with 44 suspects targeted in total, showing the scale and ambition of the crackdown. The network's operatives span multiple countries and backgrounds, reflecting the truly international nature of modern organized crime. Notably, 6 of those under investigation are former employees of major German payment service providers, giving the scheme inside access. This inside man element is crucial. Criminals didn't just exploit external weaknesses, they corrupted insiders, making the fraud even harder to detect. Executives and compliance officers allegedly helped the scheme evade detection and operate at scale, using their authority to bypass safeguards. These arrests strike at the heart of the operation, exposing deep vulnerabilities within financial institutions and the risks posed by trusted insiders. The case is a wake-up call for the entire industry. Even trusted insiders can become the linchpin of global fraud, reminding us that vigilance must extend to every level of an organization. This criminal network stole credit card details from 4.3 million people across 193 countries, a truly global heist. Their methods included phishing, hacking e-commerce sites, and exploiting security flaws to harvest sensitive data. Victims were often unaware, making legitimate purchases on compromised sites or falling for convincing fake emails. The stolen data was compiled into massive databases, then used to make countless small, fraudulent charges. Instead of selling the data, the network processed these charges through shell companies, evading detection by keeping transactions small and frequent. This low and slow approach bled millions dry, one minor charge at a time. For victims, losses were often small and easily overlooked, but multiplied across millions, the profits soared. It's a chilling example of how advanced fraudsters exploit both technology and human trust. The most alarming twist? Insiders at major payment processors allegedly enabled the fraud. 6 former employees, including executives and compliance officers, are accused of helping criminals bypass security checks. These insiders approved merchant accounts for shell companies, giving fraudsters direct access to the financial system. With their help, fraudulent charges sailed through, and internal fraud alerts were ignored or disabled. This collusion turned payment processors from gatekeepers into accomplices. The scheme's success depended on this inside access, making it far more dangerous than a typical cyber attack. When trusted employees betray their roles, the entire digital economy is at risk. The investigation sends a clear warning. Internal security and ethical culture are as vital as any firewall. The financial industry must take insider threats seriously to prevent future breaches. The partnership between external fraudsters and corrupt insiders was a calculated alliance. Fraudsters supplied stolen data. Insiders smoothed the way for fraudulent transactions and laundering. This wasn't a lone rogue employee, it was a coordinated effort across multiple corporate levels. Insiders shared knowledge of security protocols, helping criminals structure transactions to avoid detection. Once processed, stolen funds were laundered through complex transfers, crossing borders and banks. Insiders may have delayed suspicious activity reports or justified large transfers, further legitimizing the money. This case shows how modern cybercrime mimics multinational corporations, with specialized roles and internal facilitators. The human element remains the weakest link. No system is safe if insiders choose profit over integrity. The lesson: cybersecurity is as much about people as it is about technology. The fraud's reach, 193 countries, shows the borderless nature of cybercrime. Victims ranged from Tokyo to Buenos Aires, all ensnared by a network that exploited the global digital economy. By spreading attacks worldwide, criminals made it nearly impossible for any single agency to see the full picture. They relied on slow international cooperation and information silos to stay hidden. The network itself was global, with cells in the US, Germany, Singapore, Canada, and beyond. Each node handled tasks from data theft to laundering, creating a decentralized, efficient operation. The impact: millions lost money and trust. Banks faced huge losses, and e-commerce security was shaken. This case proves a small group of determined criminals can inflict global damage. It's a stark warning. In the digital age, no one is immune. This takedown was only possible through unprecedented international cooperation. German authorities led, but the US DOJ, Europol, Interpol, and agencies in Singapore and Canada all played key roles. Mutual legal assistance treaties and real-time intelligence sharing were crucial. Organizations like Europol acted as hubs, connecting local crimes to a global conspiracy. The operation overcame legal, linguistic, and procedural barriers to coordinate arrests across continents. This case is a model for how global law enforcement can match the borderless nature of cybercrime. The message: distance is no longer a shield for criminals. The world's police are learning to act as one. The California arrests are just the beginning. What follows is a complex legal journey that stretches far beyond state lines. The suspects now face extradition to Germany, a process that can take months or even years depending on legal challenges. Extradition is a formal process, governed by treaties between nations and built on mutual trust and cooperation. Suspects have the right to challenge the request in U.S. court, often arguing against extradition on legal or humanitarian grounds. Judges carefully review whether the alleged crime is serious in both countries and if the evidence presented is strong enough to justify a trial abroad. Given the scale of fraud and money laundering involved, extradition in this case is highly likely. This process shatters the illusion that cybercriminals are safe behind borders, showing that international law can reach anyone. International treaties and DOJ cooperation mean justice can cross oceans and continents, uniting countries against global crime. Once extradited, suspects will be tried in Germany, under the jurisdiction where the crimes were orchestrated. It's in Germany that the conspiracy was uncovered, and the investigation began. The German legal system is best equipped to handle the case, with specialized knowledge of the payment processing networks involved. Their focus on payment processors and digital evidence will be crucial for a fair trial. For millions of victims worldwide, this is a rare chance to see global justice in action and to regain some sense of security. The case proves that in the digital age, accountability truly knows no borders, and justice can be a global force. These arrests are a milestone in the fight against cybercrime, but the battle is far from over. The operation disrupts criminal networks and forces others to rethink their strategies. For the financial industry, it's a wake-up call. Insider threats are as dangerous as hackers. Companies must strengthen internal controls, vet employees, and foster ethical cultures. The future fight will require even closer public-private partnerships and real-time information sharing. As technology evolves, so will criminal tactics. AI-driven scams and new laundering methods are on the horizon. The fight against cybercrime is ongoing, demanding constant adaptation and vigilance. This case offers hope. With global unity and resolve, we can make the digital world safer for all.